Good afternoon, Belize. It's midday and you tune into the news at noon, where we bring you the latest updates from around the country. I'm Isani Cayetano, and here's what's making headlines today. Belize and Taiwan team up to fix vehicle registration system. Truck driver found dead in shocking early morning discovery. Community mourns mentally ill man who died in prison after minor offenses. And prison denies lawyer visit. Was it a rights violation or just following the rules? These stories are coming up in just 1 minute.
In the face of tragedy, you depend on accurate and timely information. In times of triumph, you seek to be inspired. You demand transparency and accountability. Your desire is to know and to understand, to be heard and seen. I take pride in telling stories that safeguard communities. Your dedication and success live on through these reports. Getting to the truth is my duty. My unwavering commitment is to tell the stories that matter the most to you. I am News 5.
Welcome back. In a critical move to restore one of Belize's most vital digital infrastructures, a high-level delegation from the Ministry of Transport has engaged Taiwanese officials in urgent talks to bring the country's motor vehicle registration and license system back online. The meeting, held in Belmopan, was led by CEO Chester Williams and included key figures such as Ian Smith, the Director of CITO, Chief Transport Officer Leon Gentle, and Director of Policy, Planning and Research Anna Logue. They were joined by Taiwanese Ambassador Lily Lee Weng-Su and First Secretary Jimmy Seng. The talks centered on the immediate restoration of the system, which plays a crucial role in the smooth operation of Belize's national transport services. Both parties described the discussions as productive and reaffirmed their shared commitment to resolving the issue swiftly. A virtual meeting with the system's developers is scheduled for next week, marking the first step in what officials hope will be a rapid recovery process. A gruesome discovery was made in the early hours of Thursday morning along the Valley of Peace Road in the Cayo district. It's a chilling story out of Western Belize that has left the community in shock and authorities scrambling for answers. Police responding to a call around 2:30 a.m. found a Freightliner truck, its yellow trailer loaded with sugarcane and disturbingly splattered with blood. Inside the vehicle, a machete. Nearby, the lifeless body of 32-year-old Freddie Ortega, a truck driver from Roaring Creek, brutally chopped to death. Ortega was rushed to the hospital, but tragically, he was pronounced dead on arrival. Police have since launched a full-scale investigation into what they are calling a heinous and violent crime. We'll have more details in our evening news. 26-year-old Tyreek Rodriguez, a mentally ill patient, was sentenced to the Belize Central Prison for 2 minor offenses: riding a bicycle without a headlamp and possession of a controlled drug. Just 4 days after entering the facility, he took his own life while housed in a cell designated for psychiatric patients. His death has sent shockwaves through the community and ignited a debate about whether the justice system failed him. Many are now asking, should Rodriguez have been sent to a mental health institution instead of prison? We spoke with Virgilio Murillo, Chief Executive Officer of the Belize Central Prison, who provided more details about Rodriguez's conviction and the conditions he faced behind bars. While the prison does have a designated area for inmates with mental health challenges, critics argue that incarceration is not a substitute for proper psychiatric care. This tragic case is now prompting calls for reform, both in how law enforcement handles mentally ill individuals and how the courts determine appropriate sentencing.
He was admitted into prison on the 19th, which is Monday gone, on a charge of, he had a conviction of 1 week for riding bicycle without a headlamp. And then he was also remanded on a charge of possession of a controlled drugs, which would indicate that he was caught with crack cocaine. Because today the police does not arrest you for small quantities of marijuana, at least quantities below 10 grams, no? Because it's not it has been decriminalized some years ago. And those were the charges that he came into the prison with. And like I said, he was admitted on the 19th, and then by the 22nd, before we even got a chance to familiarize ourselves with him, to know what he was like and who he is and all of that, he took his own life, unfortunately.
What was the conditions that he was subjected to at the prison?
Well, he was a mentally challenged prisoner, and he was placed in a psychiatric cell. So that is the only condition that we can really subject a mentally challenged person to. He was being observed, because like I tell you, this is the first time he has been in prison. Maybe he has been arrested before. I'm not too sure about that. However, this is the first time he came to the facility.
Earlier this week, we reported on a growing controversy involving the Belize Central Prison and a local attorney who claimed he was denied access to his client, an inmate detained under the current state of emergency. The attorney argued that his client's right to legal representation was violated, but today we followed up with Chief Executive Officer of the Colby Foundation, Virgilio Murillo, who offered a different perspective. According to Murillo, the prison was simply following the rules laid out under the state of emergency regulations. Here's how he explained that decision.
I'm not too sure if you have read the regulations governing SOEs. All I can tell you is that while I am not a lawyer, I do have a proper command of the English language. And what I read in the regulations is that, when people are detained on a detention order signed by the minister, they are not entitled to bail, and not even the high courts can summon that these people be brought before them for anything whatsoever. At least that is my interpretation of what the regulation says. So that is what we have applied for every state of emergency that has taken place over the years. Because remember, SOE is nothing new to the prison. This is our 10th SOE, if you're not tracking it. And so we're too familiar with how we handle these things. And the particular individual that the attorney had asked to come and see had absolutely no criminal charges pending against him. So there was nothing criminal against him, so there was no legitimate reason for that attorney to come here, unless he wanted to come here and kind of ease the tension on his detention by spending half hour with him.
That's a wrap for the news at noon. But don't worry, there's plenty more coming your way at 6 p.m. We'll dive deeper into these stories and more. In the meantime, visit channel5belize.com and follow us on Facebook for real-time updates. And don't miss Open Your Eyes on Monday morning for fresh takes on today's headlines. Thanks for tuning in, Belize. Stay informed, stay inspired, and have a fantastic afternoon.
Veracidad, imparcialidad.
Hemos estado haciendo el trabajo como organización.
Y tus noticias en español.
Están en aguas beliceñas, entonces esta bandera se queda aquí.
Sintoniza Canal 5 cada viernes a las 7 de la noche.
Tenemos que resolver los grandes problemas de este país.
Su voz importa, su acción cuenta.
Transfusión sanguínea, elementos que indican un deterioro evidente del estado de salud.
Somos Noticiero 5 semanal.
Perdió la vida en un heroico intento de proteger a su hermano. El Tribunal de Magistrados de la ciudad de Belice se paralizó. La policía está investigando 2 asesinatos separados.
Tu fuente de información.